Welcome to the regularly scheduled mayor and council meeting for the town of Berlin for Monday, September 26, 2022. Please join me in a moment of silence followed by the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item number 1 on our agenda is the approval of the regular session minutes from September 12, 2022.
Mayor, there's just one correction. I've already spoken to Kate and Kelsey. It's just a formatting error. The tally box on the on top of page 6 should refer to the help me out here.
It should be the American Legion approval, but it was a copy and paste error.
So just that correction, and thank you for that. And with that, if there's no other corrections, I'll make a motion to approve.
So make sure that I'm understanding this correctly. At the top of page 6 is the termination of the lease.
But it should be the approval for the event request at
For the American Legion?
American Legion. The tally's correct. The vote tally's correct. Just the...
I don't think it's correct.
This is the lease.
You voted in favor of the American Legion's
Absolutely.
special event.
That's how it is.
No, it is the correct tally. Item number 5 on the,
Oh,
Page 5 starts with the,
yeah, you're referring, I believe you were actually referring to the top of page
yeah.
5, not 6.
right, so it starts at the bottom of 5, and then the tally is at the top of 6. But the description of the tally is incorrect.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. So we have a correction, a motion with the correction to the September 12th meeting minutes.
Yeah.
We've
Motion
got-
to approve.
I didn't hear who did the second. Councilmember Burrell seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let the record reflect that the minutes of the regular session meeting for September 12th, 2022 passed unanimously with all council members present. Thank you. Up next is agenda item number 2, which is an announcement of trick-or-treating hours, and our chief of police is going to run point on that.
It's going to be 5 to 7 o'clock in the evening. No changes from the past.
And then just clarify, this is on Halloween. 'Cause I
Monday
do-
after the 31st.
Right, we do receive the phone calls of when are we celebrating Halloween, and that is on Halloween.
That is correct.
So, Chief, are we going to go ahead and close Washington again? Yes. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any additional discussion regarding the announcement of the trick-or-treat hours, which will be from 5 to 7 p.m. on Halloween? All right. Up next is agenda item number 3, which is recruitment and retention approvals from the chief of police and myself. But it also comes with a staff memo that's available in the packet. And as you can see from that staff memo, the town administrator, chief of police, human resources director, myself, the finance director, Lieutenant Fisher, we've all played a part in the culmination of this memo. This began back on June 29th. And then we did have an executive session on the 11th to be briefed on the public safety challenges that existed within the town of Berlin. Then we have a description of the regular meetings that continued following the 11th, which are creation of a FTO shift differential of $1.75 per hour for Berlin police officers that are training new Berlin police officers, increasing the town of Berlin's evening shift differential after 2 p.m. After 2 p.m. That for some reason that did not make sense to me when I was reading it, so thank you. 65 cents per hour, and then a midnight shift differential of that begins at 10 p.m., which is 80 cents per hour. That's not in addition to the 65, it is 80 cents additional per hour over the base rate. Bringing the police department's inclement weather policy in line with what's currently offered for town staff. And an inclement weather event will be determined by myself and the town administrator, and that would be 2.5 times the normal rate of pay when town hall is closed. Making the holiday compensation rate competitive with other law enforcement agencies by paying 1.5 times the normal rate for all holidays, with the exception of Easter Sunday, Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day, when officers would receive 2 times their normal rate of pay. Additional payments for law enforcement officers working in specialty areas, and you can see those specialty areas on the chart below, or the table below. The Chief of Police and the Human Resources Director are working to gather all the information needed to begin LEOP study. Kelsey, Chief Downing, do you want to make the announcement for the first time and happen this afternoon?
We submitted the application for the LEOPS process to start with the study, so.
Nice, thank you. And we should be able to hear those findings back in time for the FY24 budgeting process, which is January to February of 2023. We're going to pilot a 1099 employee to assist with fingerprinting services and other duties determined by the Chief of Police for a period of 6 months. The salary of the position is expected to be fully covered by fingerprinting fees. If the position requires the use of salary dollars outside of the generation of fingerprinting fees for the pilot period of 6 months, then we're going to discontinue the position. The Chief of Police, the Lieutenant Fisher, and the Human Resources Director have determined some salary adjustments that need to be made across the entire department to equitably compensate our officers based on their experience and years of service within the department. These adjustments should account for the changes that have been made to the base rate of pay during FY23 budgeting process to make our department competitive for recruitment. So as you can see below, there's a financial impact associated with this that was conducted by our Human Resources Director, Chief of Police, and the Finance Department. They came to a total of roughly, it's just shy of $75,000. I think it's $71,593 to be exact for option 1, which is the recommendation. But for the basis of budgeting, we are going to budget $75,000 in additional expenditures, which is why this is all before you all this evening, because it does require council action to increase those expenditures. So, Chief, anything to add to that?
I think the first thing we need to let everyone know the manpower we're actually working with right now. The staff is allocated for 14. We actually have 2 out on medical and 3 actual vacancies. Right now, ourselves, as all the other municipalities, we're having difficulties getting applicants, people who actually want to do the job itself. When we actually look at our numbers, when we put out an advertisement and it's sitting beside the other agencies, we're inferior to those. We post ours at the police academy where all the, individuals who want to be police officers are going to, the classes, and they look at Delmar, and they look at Delaware State Police, MSP, and we definitely need to go ahead and offer a little bit more if we want to go ahead and capture the individuals, the limited number of individuals that are out there for this profession. That's the first thing. Second thing is retaining the experienced officers that you have that know the citizens, that do a good job every day. That should be one of our paramount things. We have to keep those individuals in mind, and whenever they hear that the mayor and council and the citizens care about them, it goes a long way. So that's the statement for right now in regards to those 2 things.
So how does these recommendations compare to those other postings that you talked about from other agencies?
Well, what we did when we did our research is found out a lot of the things that other agencies offer, we never even offered or never even thought about. So when you look at those little things on those offerings, like double time for holiday pay, triple time for special holidays, and those things, those are things that Berlin officers have never had. So again, in doing that research and seeing what other agencies are doing, those definitely look good when they fill up that advertisement sheet. And knowing our advertisement sheet possibly will look a little bit better compared to what it has been in other agencies, will go a long way. when we talk about recruit, we're talking about paying benefits. The new person who comes by, the first thing is how much are we going to get paid? What days I get off? And they go from there. Officers who are here and working, they know those things, and the next question is, when can I retire? And those sort of things.
So it's open to questions to myself, the chief of police, town administrator, anybody that was part of those meetings. If you have any questions regarding the recommendation, there is some information about how option one would be paid for, and there are some vacancies. Chief Downing and our finance director Natalie Slay can speak to, and our human resources director Kelsey Jensen can speak to the positions that are unfilled and those salary dollars that should come forward enough to be able to cover the expenditures here within this document. But do know that our goal is to fill all of those, and this will lead to a net increase of about $75,000 next fiscal year. So we will have something that we do need to overcome together during the budgeting process, but at this time, this is the recommendation.
And so two things, Chief, I just want to revisit that you're also pursuing, it says $35,000 in grant funding to offset overtime, and that's still ongoing, correct?
That is correct. The application is actually being worked on right now, so hopefully we'll be able to get some relief with some grants.
And it's not a really question, it's just a comment. I want to thank the chief, the town administrator, human resources, mayor, finance for taking this on at the request of the council, and good job. I'm very, very proud at the moment of you all. So my actual question is though, so what kind of motion do we need here? Is a motion to approve the 71,593?
Well,
Yeah, let's get to the question. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but that was my question. What would the motion be?
so Natalie, will there be an actual budget amendment? No, because the funds exist within salary dollars already. I
Not for
think,
fiscal '23, no. The $75,000 will not be budgeted.
so I think this is more of a formal consensus, I would say, more than anything. I don't think there's really truly any action needed, but it's to brief everybody publicly. Correct me if I'm wrong, Natalie, if there's an actual motion that's needed. But these are the recommendations. We are going to pursue option one unless there's some different view up here by the council. So.
And that was just my question. So
No, I agree 100%. I'm glad to see you guys come up with this number. What a penny is now in the tax rate.
I'm sorry, what is?
What does 1 cent give you? If you add 1 cent to the tax rate, how much money does it add to our budget in income? Roughly.
I believe it was about 15, 20,000.
20,000. So to raise 75 next year, everybody, keep in mind, you gotta raise the taxes. I'm not gonna be here, but it's gonna do it.
You're
Just
going to be in
understand it. That's where this money comes from. It's earned and it's deserved. It's been promised for a long time. I want to see it happen. If anything I can do tonight and see it happen, I'd love to.
We might have to disagree over a cup of coffee when the budget process comes around. We'll talk, but.
I'm just saying.
So.
That's all I got.
This proposal is definitely necessary, so I'm 100% in support of it. I do think we should take a vote, though, to show that the council is.
I think to the chief's point that could go a long way with morale, and, I mean, it's purely a formality, but I mean, it can be done.
But Chief, I did have two questions. The grant funding that Councilman Orris mentioned, is that a year-to-year thing?
Oh,
Just one
yes.
time?
1 year,
But you can apply again and again.
possibly. Again, grant funds, especially when you look at federal and state, you never know 100% that it's going to be there, but it's not a annual, I mean, more than 1 year, it's annual.
Sure. And the fingerprinting individual that you would want to hire, you fingerprint now, and why the need for an additional person?
Right now, the fingerprinting is done beside me, and that rate's a little bit higher. And what happens whenever you have someone stop what they're actually doing? it actually costs you more money in the end.
Takes time.
We have someone that's already reversed, and we're not talking about money. You know, individual said, I'll do it for free, I'll do it for $50. Again, it's a retired police officer that's in the station more a little bit and is dedicated to us, even though he doesn't get paid by us. So setting up 2 days instead of calling him in when he has to work the road, when he should be doing administrative work, it really just up there smooths things out. And right now, we don't want to be in the fingerprint business, but we're one of the few folks that do it, and every fingerprint we make roughly $20. And we think that the individual coming in will be able to help us with that and some other things, and it won't be at a true cost at all to us.
Right. Doesn't net out either. Good, thank you.
I want to add one point that the chief of police, prior to the June 29th date that's noted in the memo, the chief of police did request a meeting with all of us, and that's what led to all of this information here in front of us today. So Chief, thank you for that. It unfortunately came with the information that we were behind on several officers and our staffing levels, but thank you for bringing this to our attention, and thank you everybody for working through this memo. It goes a long way. Take a motion if there is one.
Well,
Mayor, just want to add a couple of things.
Go ahead.
Before we proceed. So the 75,000 increase will be applied to police department for retention and recruiting. General fund is going to carry the fiscal 23 without any modifications because we have gaps in the salary. We have some refunds coming from the workers' comp and potentially the grant. The next year, we would have to discuss it through the budget process and decide how that is going to be funded. So it's going to be ongoing. Now, the LEOPS option here, it's not part of the approval. That's a separate discussion for later. I just want to clarify.
That's a good point. LEOPS is, and that figure that you see is pulled from 2019 numbers. So the study request that was submitted, an application that was submitted by the chief and Kelsey this afternoon would bring those numbers current. Just so
So
correct. So,
Well, then I'll go ahead and make a motion that we go ahead and accept the recommendation of budgeting $71,000 in additional expenditures for the Berlin Police Department upon their recommendations of this memo. I know that's wordy, so
75?
70, yes,
it's
75.
option one.
It's option one.
It's what's recommended in the memo.
And all the other ones.
Yeah, and all the other points in the memo.
Second.
So I have a motion to accept the memo as presented by Councilmember Orris and a second by Councilmember Nichols. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much.
Natalie, thank you, Kelsey, thank you, Mary, and I'm missing one, Lieutenant Fisher, thank you.
Well, I gotta tell you guys, hearing that the LEOPS process has begun, I was about to clap, but nobody else here was clapping with me, so I'll clap on myself. Yeah, they didn't clap with me, so, but that's exciting in itself, just to hear that we are in the process. I mean, every day that I see a sheriff's deputy or officers from other departments, they always mention, hey, listen, you know what you guys should be doing in Berlin? So now, the word can be, hey, listen, you know what we're attempting to do in the county of Berlin? So, you guys deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next is agenda item number 4, which is we have acting there, but that is an error. Town Administrator's Report.
Just a couple of quick things. The municipal election, is next Tuesday. Now I'm trying to sneeze. October the 4th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We have a couple of deadlines still outstanding for that election. Tomorrow at close of business is the final opportunity to file as a write-in candidate. It's also the final opportunity, the final deadline for me to receive absentee applications by mail. However, they can be brought in up till September 30th in person. And then next Wednesday is the bid opening for the Stephen Decatur Park Comfort Station. as he phrased it.
Oh, that
Comfort
sounds
station.
nice.
Yes. That's all I've got.
Also known as.
Yes.
Dean's bathroom.
That's right. You get both sides of town.
I get naming rights?
Yes, he does.
Just because of Dean.
Truly had a lot. Any questions for our town administrator?
So when the comfort station is regular, we can get ribbon cutting.
We can.
I'm just asking.
Toilet paper.
Too funny.
You are too rich.
We could probably get through it.
All right, up next is our departmental reports, and we'll start with our electric utility director, Tim Lawrence.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have a few things to report on. The past couple of weeks, we've been dealing with the downtown festivals, installing banners, electrical panels, for example. Henry Road, we installed a new underground service. Heron Park, we did inventory for the equipment over there. Various locations, pole top maintenance, tree trimming, Savage substation outage, which was on the 17th of September. It was actually scheduled from 12:01 a.m. till 6 a.m. We actually finished at 4 a.m. So 2 hours ahead of time, and it went as planned. Camellia Lane, replaced a faulted overhead transformer. Downtown, we had some tree lights that we had to deal with, and then prep work for the Touch a Truck event, which is this Saturday at Stephen Decatur Park from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Some of the agencies that are going to be part of that event are the Maryland State Police, Department of Natural Resources, Worcester County Sheriff's Office, Emergency Services, Miss Utility of Delmarva, Town of Berlin, Water, Electric, Public Works, and Wastewater will be part of that. Town of Berlin Police Department and the Fire Department. So it'll be very well representative from the community. And then also Walnut Hill, we installed underground electrical service. And then we started meter reading today, and that'll last for about the next 3 days. So we'll be in backyards and that type of thing for you meters. That's about it.
Any questions for our electric utility director, Tim Lawrence?
I just have a comment.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Tim, over the years, you have planned outages, and with the most recent one, I would just like to thank you for your eye to detail and how reliable your plan is. Because when you said it's going to be like this, that's usually the way it happens. So thank you and your department for doing such a fine job.
Yes, sir. I couldn't do it without the entire team. Thank you.
And that work saved the town, if it was a catastrophic failure to occur with that equipment that you didn't fix, would have cost the town millions of dollars. So it wasn't a luxury outage, it was to replace valuable pieces of equipment.
Yes, it was a necessity.
Very necessary.
Well, I like the fact that you put 1201, and I'm not even being funny, on the outage, because my sons, they took you literal. Those boys, they used every minute up until your 1201, strategically placing lights through my house, because my dogs freak out when it's complete darkness. But they were like, oh my God, we got 2 minutes. And they turned all the lights off so that you know what I mean? So when they went flip, the other lights wouldn't flip the dogs out. And they were even like, Mom, he's 2 minutes behind schedule. Who do we call? But we appreciate you, because my sons, you meant a lot to those boys.
We were actually being held up by the state highway. Hope nobody's here. They had to set up generators at the traffic lights, and I had to wait on them to get all the generators. Then also I found out during that outage that Comcast actually deployed 18 generators throughout the town to power up their transmitting boxes.
Oh, wow.
Wasn't quite sure why they did that, because the power was out that feeds the TV.
Right, yeah.
The modems can't work.
But anyway, they had them doing it. So.
Well, Tim, do you have is there a rain date for the Touch a Truck, just in case?
October. Oh, actually, there's not.
No.
We normally don't.
I didn't know.
It doesn't rain.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So Saturday.
I wish you wouldn't have mentioned that. I think that hurricane's supposed to come.
Well, that's kind of why I was asking.
We actually don't have a rain date normally for
All
the.
right, but it's gonna be fine for your event, it'll be after that if it rains at all, which it's not going to.
Thank you.
Up next is the police department, chief of police or lieutenant Fisher.
We're pleased to announce that we received 4 grants from the Governor's Office of Crime Control Prevention. One being Berlin Body Armor to recoup some of the cost of our bulletproof vest. For Berlin Community Policing grant, which will assist with events such as National Night Out, Memorial Day parades, back to school events, and those sort of efforts. The police accountability and transparency, we went with mental health with that. We're setting up programs that have early emergency systems within the department itself, access for the officers to actually openly, on their own, engage with services in regards to mental health without having to come through us, and setting those mechanisms up. And the last one was police retention and recruitment, in which we'll be able to give bonuses to people who are actually certified if they wish to come to us, and if they actually have certain proficiencies such as veterans, Spanish speaking or second languages, and higher education. So again, all happened in 1 week, so we're blessed to have that coming towards us. That's my report.
Thank you. And I think it can't be said enough with the mental health services that they are anonymous for our officers. So, any questions for our chief of police?
I just want to say thank you. We appreciate you at Berlin Intermediate School.
You're
We
quite
tested within the first 6 days of school, and every child needed earbuds, and the chief and his crew came through for a good number of our children, so thank you. We appreciate you.
And again, we pride ourselves with that, making contact with each school. We went, it had to be the big meeting a day, and I'm knocking on doors at schools, and they're like, nobody's here, nobody's here. But I had the opportunity to go ahead and see each one of the principals, let them know that we're here to support them, make sure that we understood the emergency systems that we have in place. We actually have situations happening at homes, schools need to know about, and for the schools themselves, that issues in school, to let us know. So again, making sure those partnerships are well and alive. But you're quite welcome.
Thank you.
Any additional questions for our chief of police? All right, up next, our finance director, Natalie Slay.
Good evening. Finance and customer service, we continue working on implementing the new stormwater fees and rates and the water sewer capital service fees as well. They should be going in effect with the new next billing, and probably next bills, whoever receives the paper bills will not have a graph for it now, just because there's some wording and shifted sentences, so the graph doesn't fit, but we will try to get it back on next. If not, we'll have to abbreviate something. It's just not enough space on the same page. We finished audit with PKS and Company. Finance received a good feedback. They will be back on site with the draft and for discussion whenever they're ready. I don't have a date yet, but we're still going back and forth on some emails and some scanning. They just did the preliminary, so they will be working from their offices to finish it out. Preparing the report for uses of state highway revenues for fiscal '22, which will be submitted by the end of the month. Working with the Booth and Associates on the new updated rate study. There's several pages of questions and information that they need for us to submit, for them to start working on that process. By the end of the fiscal year, we will be implementing a new credit card process, and we're merging completely to Tyler, which is our finance and billing software. The advantages of shifting to the Tyler, we're going to receive 2 new free terminals for the town, updated. Also, customers will be able to pay online. The town will bypass the fee that is associated with customer paying online. And also, the customer will have opportunity to dial in and pay over the phone without the human presence. So it will be automated system if they would like to just pay over the phone, because so many customers do ask that. We will look into the paying through the e-check as well, but there is a fee associated with that. They would not waive it. So if we pass it on the customer, if we have interest in that, that will be discussed a little later. We reviewed some bank information and bank rates at our bank, and I have discussed it with Bank of Ocean City. Gratefully, they have agreed to give us a little bit of better rates, so we'll be earning a little bit more interest income going into the next year. We're working on the phone tree as well. We would like to have automated system when a person dials town hall, they don't have to go to customer service and then be redirected to water, electric, or public works. They will have an option to select that department and get out, but that's in the process. Let's see what else we have here. I worked with the police on the grant applications, and we have reviewed all of our outstanding bonds and the rates as well. I was looking to see if we were eligible for better rates or refinancing, but not in this time. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. There's a lot in there that's either saving money or, so what I'm trying to say is good job. Thank you. Any questions for our finance director?
Great job, Natalie.
Up next is our public works director, Jimmy Charles.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Councilman Burrell, this is for you to start. This is a question about, I'm in contact with State Highway about 611 and Flower Street. They are in the process of working a design up to put the X bars in there, so they won't be blocking that intersection, so you can make a left heading east on the Flower Street. There'll be signs that do not block intersections with two big X's in that area. We're also continuing in that area to help them update things we see. There's a little triangle up near the stoplight. We're going to put some crossbars in that too. We're still getting people trying to do 3 lanes of cross through there. There's some signage on, it's actually on the red light on the signs on the far side of 113, where we want to bring them signs back to this side on 113, right at the stoplight. So we're continuing to try to make that intersection safer for all. Paving should have been completed today over here at the Decatur Park pathway. There'll still be a little bit of cleanup and stuff to do around the edges and stuff. And then we'll come back in at a later time and add some dirt on the edges so it doesn't become a trip hazard or safety concerns with that. We're continuing to work on the playground equipment, updating it, painting it, and just continuing to bring our playground equipment up to code and date and make it more inviting for all of our participants that like to go to the playground area. One last thing, fiddlers we set up, tore down, very efficient in the way we were getting set up, and we were probably tore down in less than an hour after the event ended. Had the street clean, swept, trash cans empty, and we're gone. Thank you.
Thank you. Good news about that parking path, or Stephen Decatur Park walking path and all of the, not a parking path, sorry. Do not park on that path. And the paving project, so good job on that. Any questions for our Public Works Director?
And especially good news concerning deterioration.
Yes. I've got a question. Signage. I wasn't coming, I meant to email you guys about this earlier, but I forgot. But I was asked this question. You know the crosswalk on Williams where I'm usually standing there? Well, you know I graduated, I don't do that anymore. I passed that torch to somebody else, thank God. So somebody else is out there crossing my children across William Street from I guess it's across Williams and it from Franklin, or was it Graham Avenue? Yeah, no, Graham, because we cross on Graham, so we cross from like the parking lot to Graham. Are there, and there is a crosswalk that's there, but there's no sign that says crosswalk. Is that, I don't know who that sign person is that us or is that State Highway?
It would be State Highway. I will contact them, I'll talk with State Highway.
You want me to take a picture of the spot I need?
You could, yeah, if you would, just,
Yeah.
that way I'm 100%, but if it's crossing William Street, it's
Yeah.
definitely State Highway.
Yeah, Williams and Graham is where, right where the children cross.
Then we could see what signage that they have to help identify motorists that there's children crossing.
Thank you.
Going to school time.
In addition to children crossing, there were a bunch of kids this morning that rode their bikes. And
They do, we have like 30 of them now, every day.
this was 30 in 1 month.
See what I'm saying?
On Peloton. They were on Franklin Avenue and turned and went by the daycare and then went down Graham. So if we could kind of assist those kids with their route to school, I think it would be a very good thing.
Yeah. I mean, even though I don't do that anymore, it still worries me. You know, every day I'm counting bicycles. Oh, there's 3 of them today. So yeah, I get what you're saying, Mr. Burrell, because they're all over that route.
Made me feel young just to see.
What exactly are the times that the crossing guard is there?
So he should be out there at about 2:45. They're about crossing them over.
Is there anybody?
2:45, 2:50.
No morning cross?
In the morning, no, we don't have a person, and that's, yeah. A lot of times, not always, but a lot of times parents, or they'll like parent pool, a parent will ride a bike with most of them to get them that far. Yeah.
Estimate of that time, roughly?
That's
7?
usually around 7:30.
Let's say 7:15.
7:15, 7:20.
I see them on my way. Bike pack.
7:15, 7:20.
All right. Up next is our Human Resources Director, Kelsey Jensen.
I'll keep it quick. Just a reminder to everyone that we're offering the harassment and civility trainings. It's 2 separate trainings. Those will be on Thursday right here. It is mandatory for all staff, and we are welcoming the council members. If any of you would like to attend, just let me know and I can send you the times. We also did hold an interview. We reached out to a candidate that we would like to offer a position in the mayor's office. So we are working through that process now. We did conduct a flu clinic for all of our employees. We had about 20-some employees attend that. So, and then Ms. Staub and we attended the clerk's quarterly meeting virtually. So I think we're going to see if we can get a scholarship for her to attend the conference this year. So we're going to see if we can work on that. And then I lastly just wanted to thank Jamie, Megan, Brian Fortune, and Bob Clark. We came unannounced on Friday and did a little field trip to those departments to just kind of show her, you know, how they worked. And they all were very quick to give us detailed tours and stuff. So I think that was it's helpful. Even I'm learning stuff every time I go down there and see something new. So thank you guys for taking the time to do that. So I did call over the police department, but at the time, like, no one happened to be in there. I said, we'll come back another day. So we owe you guys a visit as well. So, but thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions for our Human Resources Director, Kelsey Jensen? All right. Up next, Admin Assistant Kate Dahl.
Ditto what she said.
Any questions for Kate? All right. That concludes our departmental reports. Up next are comments from the council, and we'll leave with our Vice President, Dee Burrell.
I don't have a thing.
All right. Troy?
Sounds good.
Councilmember Nichols?
The only thing I'm going to say is thank you for your years of service. We're going to miss you. I don't have anybody to, well, I will have
Yes, you
somebody
will.
soon to, so thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Good luck on future endeavors.
Ditto.
Ditto.
Thank you. Councilmember Nur?
Sunday, I had the pleasure of walking on the new path at Stephen Decatur, and it's really nice, so it's a welcome addition to that park. And I too want to thank Troy for his 14 years of dedicated service to the town. We certainly applaud you for that. It's been a pleasure working with you. Thanks.
Councilmember Wars?
Just a couple things real quick. First, I guess I should apologize to my colleagues here. I guess I missed a memo, or I misunderstood it, so we'll get that situated next week. The one other thing, Councilmember Purnell, it's been a pleasure working with you this short time, but thank you for your service to the town. And then finally, I just want to say thank you to Chief Fisher, everybody who's worked with the police and working on getting this, what we did tonight going, and working on LEOPS. But I also want to thank the residents for reaching out, for attending tonight, and for, I'm sure we all were contacted a little bit, but speaking personally, contacting me with your concerns and your worries. And, you know, we're on the right path, I believe. And I think we're doing well by the police department. So, thank you. And that's my report.
Thank you. Up next are comments from the mayor. I'll thank you also for your service. I'm going to miss debating you a little bit, but hopefully it won't end, even though from out there. Cup of coffee, that works too. But
You're already there.
congratulations. I look forward to seeing you over there.
Thank you.
But no, in addition to that, I'm sure all of you saw the town of Berlin is slated to get a new traffic light at the south end of Main Street at 113. I want to thank all of my colleagues. We did send a letter to the county commissioners requesting that light in our consolidated transportation plan request, and they forwarded that along. So thank you all for that. I also want to reiterate that not a parking path, but a walking path ribbon cutting will take place at Stephen Decatur Park on October 5th at 4:30, and that's also Walk Maryland Day. So you can celebrate with a walk with us on the new path around Stephen Decatur Park.
And as part of Walk Maryland Day, the Worcester Health Department will also be having a scavenger hunt in Decatur.
Nice.
So up next are agenda item number 8, which are comments from the public, if we have any. Mr. Moore, come forward, just name and street name.
Well, very briefly, I'm Joe Moore, 319 South Main Street. Thank you so much for Agenda 3. And also, thank you for the walking trail in the park. It's very nice and well appreciated. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Any additional comments from the public? All right, if not, we'll move on to comments from the press. All right, if not, Councilmember Burrell, you're up.
Before I make this infamous motion, I just want to say thanks to Troy. And Troy, I'm really gonna miss you and those little special things you would bring in and share with us concerning the history of the town of Berlin.
Oh,
You've got one.
I got one right here. Mr. Joe Moore gave to me, my grandfather's, 1922, owner of Automobile for Hire, Anthony H. Purnell, Berlin, Maryland. It was 1918 Ford. And Joe gave that to me on some council meeting some time ago. It was my pleasure. Yeah, it was great.
That I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? And if you didn't notice, Councilmember Purnell made the motion to second. Thank you all. Up next, we'll take a brief moment. We will reconvene in 5 minutes for a work session of Mayor and Council with the Berlin Fire Company, President David Fitzgerald, and Fire Chief Anthony Road. Anthony Road without an S. RJ. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. My bad. Not Anthony, RJ.
Troy.
Sorry, RJ.